Chicago. You have found your way onto the Chi-Town Weekly Show. I am your host, Adam Carnick. Thank you so very much for tuning in tonight. My goodness, have we got a lot to talk about. We've got some Bears news breaking. We've got basketball games that aren't going to be happening. We've got some baseball games that aren't going to be happening. And oh, by the way, we had a no-hitter last night. We got to talk about that. So much to talk about, in fact, that I'm bringing in some help today. AC is in with us tonight. He's going to help us get through a couple of segments. Thanks for joining us, AC.
Hey, no pleasure. It's my pleasure, man. It's great going here. Chicago Weekly Show.
All right. With all the craziness going on, let's start with some fun. We're going to start off with some White Sox baseball. Again, this is the Chi-Town Weekly Show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's get going.
Do it.
All right. So a no-hitter. What a way to start. How awesome and cool is that to have a no-hitter last night in Chicago? 19th in White Sox history. And Lucas Giolito.
Yeah. I saw this tweet on yesterday on Twitter that had said he wasn't an ace, but then he just shocked the world yesterday. I'm just amazed. This core just keeps just shocking you with Jose Abreu hitting 4 home runs and the all-town rivalry. Tim Anderson killing it with a high bat. I mean, what more can you say? Just smiling.
Yeah.
Really loving the team at the moment.
Yeah, and Giolito especially, you look at where he in particular was a couple of years ago. He was the worst starter on the staff, arguably the worst starter in the American League, maybe even in all of baseball. And now he's completely flipped it around. He is he's an all-star. He is an ace on this staff.
Yeah, he's the ace. He's the ace. No doubt about it. That's not even a question. With that 19th no-hitter, he seals the deal. I'm just wild. Like, this team's amazing. Like, I love this team. Like, I can't wait for the postseason. So
and you've got a postseason probably to look forward to this year too. You know, halfway through the season now one game passed thanks to the big win this afternoon again over the Pirates. The Sox now sit at 19-12 overall, and especially this year with increased postseason, you're going to have 8 teams from the American League. There's almost no way that the Sox wouldn't make it. If they're one game back of the Twins for first place in the division.
Right.
Which
is easy. I think we should easily win the division. I think we're the best team. I think Minnesota's great, but we're hands on top. We're the best, honestly. That's what I think, honestly. Because I can just tell you the batting averages and everything. Jose Abreu, I'm sorry, get off of Lucas, but Jose Abreu deserves some praise. This man has been on a tear. He's killing the ball. I'll just read you off with just a couple of his bats.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so he has 40 hits out of 125 bats. 23 runs batted in, 12 home runs, 30 RBIs. Let's just focus on his OPS. I'm sorry, it's 1,038. I'm sorry, which is really good, man. Like this, Jose. If you asked me last year, well, I know that Jose will be killing it this year, I would have said no way. I thought he would have a decent year, but not like the year he's having now. I think he's honestly in the MVP conversation. You can actually throw him in there.
Yeah.
The way he's carrying the Sox and the things he's doing for the Sox, he's energetic. He's giving them energy. I just love it. I just love this team. And imagine that most of the players are locked up for some years, 8 years, 9 years. I'm just amazed with this team. And then when we hit that 4 back-to-back home runs, Machado wasn't even in the lineup. I noticed that when I was.
Yeah, everybody in that lineup swings a hot stick. Everybody in that lineup. Yeah. There's no easy outs right now in that lineup. You know, looking at the Crosstown Cup a little bit, the Crosstown Series, the Eloy got it started with his home run off Lester. That was one that it was the second you heard the crack of the bat, it was, oh, yep, that's gone. You don't even need to bother. Maybe give it left fielder, give it that courtesy step, but that's gone. There's no way. And everyone in that series was like that. They just everybody hits them. Obviously, Abreu had the 4 in a row, but
it was actually 5. He had another one the day after. I was like, wow.
Yeah,
I was just like, wow.
Everybody on that team swings so well, and they're coming together. I wondered going into the Crosstown Cup, I thought it was going to be interesting to see the White Sox bats against the Cubs starting rotation, which has been so strong. And the
Darvish.
And Lester and Hendricks, and you look at that series, they faced Lester, then Hendricks, and then Darvish. Yeah. And outside of Darvish just being otherworldly, okay, White Sox, you lost the game going up against Yu Darvish. There's no shame there. Yu Darvish is making everybody look silly. But you pasted Kyle Hendricks. You pasted John Lester. Those are two guys that very few people are having, especially Hendricks. Very few people are having success against him, and they just torched him. You know, three runs, 7 hits. Hendricks only struck out 3 in that game. Good success against good pitching. That to me was such a good litmus test for the White Sox. It really does feel like they've arrived. Yes,
I'm just so happy. That was like one of the best crosstown rivalries ever. It has to be top. It's just this has been a hot week. Just all in general. It's been a hot week. Yeah. I just hope they keep on this tear and we just keep going straight, just killing it, like tearing the ball up. I just hope he just can continue it.
And then
I love the chemistry. It's just the team just doing so amazing. I think Rick Haas is doing a good job. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, and then you look at the flip side, the Cubs, still overall a good record, a good overall showing. You know, they played 29 games. They're 18-11 right now, so a couple games behind the Sox, but effectively, you know, a couple fewer games played than the Sox, but effectively halfway through. They're 18-11, but they're 500 in their last 10 games. They've been getting by without Bryant hitting, without Rizzo hitting, without Baez hitting, without Contreras hitting. But
that's what's scary.
You got to wonder at some point those guys have got to wake up. And is there enough time in this 30-game season? Is there enough time for those guys to wake up? Because I don't think you can count on Bodie and Happ and Caratini carrying you offensively the rest of the way if you're the Cubs.
Yeah, I believe the best will wake up. This is a World Series champion team. They got the caliber to wake up anytime they want. I still believe the Cubs will make the playoffs. No doubt about it. I had no doubt about it this year that they were going to make it. I knew it. I just knew it. The pitching was just too great. The only question was just the bullpen. The bullpen is what's like really worrying me because it's kind of shaky. I want to say is they need a little help, but the bats, I'm not worried about the bats. They'll wake up just in an instant. I'm not worried. They'll heat up.
Yeah,
They just got to thank the White Sox pitching. They really shut them down. They really closed the doors on them. And that was when that crosstown rivalry. They closed the doors. They couldn't do nothing.
Yeah, I see Larry chiming in the chat. You know, the Cubs are the Cubs. I'm glad to
Yeah.
see the outside perspective there, feeling that way, because kind of on an inside perspective, I do worry with only, it's half a season, but it's only 30 games. Is there enough time for the big boys to heat up? So glad to see that there's some feeling that way towards that. All right. Now you've got the trade deadline coming up here in a little less than a week. Obviously, for the Cubs, if you're gonna make a move, the most obvious move feels like the bullpen.
Definitely.
Put yourself in the Sox. Let's AC. I'm gonna temporarily grant you Rick Hahn's chair here for a minute. You get to be general manager for the White Sox. A, are you making any moves? And B, what are you doing?
I would get another pitcher. I would get another pitcher.
For the rotation?
I believe it. Yes, for the rotation, because I want to run a 6-man rotation when I get to the playoffs. I always like 6 to 7-man rotations because you never know crunch time. I believe in 6-7 rotations in the playoffs. Bullpen. I believe the bullpen for the Sox is great. We got great. I believe all the hitters. I don't need any hitters. I believe in all the people that we got and the hitters, and all of them. I think we haven't even got Nick. Nick is hurt.
Yeah, Madrigal's still coming back yet.
All them home runs. Nick is not even in the lineup. And like I told you, Machado wasn't in the lineup either. And they hit back to back home runs. And that's the scary part. Because the whole team wasn't even put together. Like, it was like this Sox team is scary. Scary. I saw a tweet once before that said the Sox was leading the AL in home runs. I'm not so sure now today, but I saw a couple of days ago that the Sox was leading in home runs in the AL. So I have to check that out again.
I believe it. I also saw today that the White Sox now have a run differential of plus 41, second in baseball, just behind the Dodgers. So they really are. The Sox are challenging you. Look, you've got to keep up with us. We're gonna put 4, 5, 6 plus runs on the board every night. Can your offense do that on a consistent basis? When you get into the playoffs, that's a whole different animal because you're typically it's colder, so the ball's not quite gonna sail. Now that may not be as big a factor. There's starting to be talk coming up that there may be a playoff bubble for the MLB, so maybe the cold might not be a factor for the Sox. But then on the flip side, you're facing the aces. You're not as apt to get the 4th and 5th starters every night. You're going to get some 1s and 2s in there.
Yeah, I believe we should grab a pitcher.
Okay, so
definitely need a pitcher.
Anybody in particular you'd like to see?
Whoever fits there, I want to keep the chemistry as it is. I love our chemistry. I love the carefree, the fun they have in the locker room and everything. I want them to keep that. As long as they bring someone that's good. We personally don't need an 8. We can use a 3-4 rotation type person, I believe. That'll be great.
Sure.
And they can come in, fit the rotation, keep the chemistry cool, keep these guys having fun, laughing, keep them with the same energy. So when they go in October, they can just kill it. Because I believe this team right now can win the World Series. No doubt.
I agree. I agree. They have the potential. They have the capability. I do wonder. I do feel a little bit like this is more of like the circa 2015 Cubs than the 2016. But man, ride it for as long as you can. There's absolutely no reason that they can't win the World Series. Doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. It's still hard to do, but they are certainly capable of doing so. And then with the Cubs side of it, as you head into the trade deadline, the obvious answer is going to remain obvious. It's got to be the bullpen that they need to shore that up.
No doubt about it. Bullpen.
It is refreshing.
Beef pitching. The real question is, are you comfortable with the closer situation? Are you comfortable with that going into the postseason? Is you comfortable?
It is interesting because Kimbrel, the last couple times out, it looks like he's started to figure it out a little bit. He's started to get some more pop into the fastball, and it's starting to rise a little bit. It's starting to get some elevation. It's not just going out there and hanging dead red for somebody to time up. It's got a little bit of life on it. So obviously you hope that it lasts longer and that this isn't a mirage. I am a little worried. I did hear the other day that they might be talking about doing a bit of a rotation for the closer, letting Kimbrel handle it sometimes and Justin Jeffries handling it some other times, and maybe even throwing Rowan Wick in there from time to time. And my gut reflex on that is I want to have one guy that that's his job, that this is going to be your ninth inning guy, that the closer by committee, we've seen that a couple times, that you just ride a guy until he's hot. We've seen that on the north side. We saw that, I think it was even last year, we saw that a little bit on the north side where they just went closer by committee. I don't know that I trust that heading into the postseason. So
is that the area where you're going to make a trade or try to put an effort at?
Closer is so expensive of a position to get, not even monetarily, but to trade. I don't know that the Cubs have the horses either in their farm system or in the bank they have them in the bank, but ownership might not be willing to spend it. But I'm sorry, I saw something on the chat that made me stop and take I don't know who in the heck said I'm the Midwest champion of Madden 4 years in a row. That caught me off guard. Lies, I tell you, all lies. Anyway, with the Cubs ownership, I don't know if they'd be willing to spend the bank on a closer, especially in this trade market. This is such an odd trade market where you're trading for a guy for a month. And then,
pretty much. And
then, what do you do with him after that? So I don't know that closer, but it'd be nice to see some additional help in the bullpen for the Cubs. A lefty reliever, because I think while Quintana pitched well last night out of the pen, I think he is a starter. He's definitely a starter.
I love Jose. I thought that was a great trade for you guys. We both won. I thought we both won that trade. Everybody won. But, they threw him in the bullpen. He's been doing great.
Yeah, so far the Sox definitely got the better end of that deal. The Jose deal started off great for the Cubs. Not looking as great now.
No, definitely not. Thank you.
It is what it is. I'm still glad he's here with the Cubs, and we'll see what comes of it. All right, so we talked some baseball. Let's take a little bit of a break. Coming out of the break, let's talk some football. Specifically, let's talk some average Joe football. Let's talk about some fantasy football, and let's talk about some Madden football. This is Chi-Town Weekly on IE Sports, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey guys, it's Blake Henley, better known as H-Town Blake to some of you. Happy to announce that Bases Loaded is back in full force. We'll be bringing that high heat every Tuesday night here on IE Sports Radio. So come home, get ready, dig into that batter's box, and see if you can chase that high heat, baby. So we'll be coming to you live with all the stats, all the rundowns, all the division rivalries, and every team that's going to make the playoff push to get to that one and only October and get to the pinnacle of what baseball is, to hoist that commissioner's trophy when it's all said and done.
to the nets, the end zone to the finish line. Here nothing is off limits and no sport is safe. Not what it seems with your host Caitlin Seam, bringing you sports like you've never heard before. Catch me Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, right here on IE Sports Radio. The only question is, are you ready?
What's going on, football fans? This is me, your boy Larry B, inviting you to join myself, Colin Reynolds, Mike Pat, and John Felipe for one of the most electrifying football shows you have ever heard. 3 and Out, right here at IE Sports Radio. Recap of the week before, a preview of what's to come, and of course, 3 hardcore head-to-head prime-time face-offs each week. You don't want to miss it.
Lopan, they didn't even want you. Heck, they didn't even want me. But you know what? Right about now, they have no choice. Looking for the real sports talk? Talk that's for us, the people? Look no further. The Wait a Minute Show, a prime-time sports comedy cocktail that tucks you in at night. Join me and Lopan Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 2livestewsradio.com and Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the waitaminuteshow.com. Sounds like a plan to me. Ain't that right, Lopan?
Indeed.
Hey, what's up, sports fans? You're looking for a different type of sports talk show, something you haven't heard before? You gotta check out the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday on 2 Live Stews Radio, 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern. Sports talk at its finest. Always have great guests, playing some good hip-hop. You don't want to miss it. Make sure to tune in to the BS3 Sports Show every other Saturday at 1 p.m. Central Time, 2 p.m. Eastern.
All right, and welcome back into Chi-Town Weekly. Once again, I am your host, Adam Karnick. I've got some help along with me today. AC is helping us out. We talked about the Cubs and the White Sox first. Now let's get into football. Let's talk about, specifically, let's talk about some fantasy football first of all.
Let's do it.
So, AC, this has been such an odd offseason, obviously for every sport everywhere. But now, as we're getting ready for the start of football season, have you been doing anything differently in your fantasy football prep at all?
Trying to see where I'm going to take Mitch or Nick Foles at. I was thinking about taking Mitch in the first round. Honestly, I'm going to run with Mitch in my fantasy league.
Really?
I know. Yes. Mitch or Nick. Either one.
Really?
I believe.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I love hearing that. I have to be honest. I I went kind of nuts this year. I went nuts in creating my top 200. This is the most prep work I've ever done for a draft. I actually don't have either of them in my top 200. So, but you're going with them. Yeah, they're both, for me, from a quarterback perspective, I got too many questions for both of them from a fantasy perspective. Now, I love A-Rob. I love Allen Robinson at the wide receiver spot. I definitely want to try and snag him when I draft. My draft is tonight. I get off the air doing this and then go into a draft lobby and draft my team. So I'm hoping to snag him. At the same time, I'm not going to sell out my draft for him. But you're thinking of taking Mitch or Foles even as early as the first round.
First round. I believe him. I believe this is actually going to be the year. And you were hearing it first here.
Okay.
That this is going to be the year for Mitch. Mitch is going to tear the league up. I believe it. He's been working with AR, Anthony Miller. They've been working hard. We got Jimmy Graham, Coleman. I just believe he's going to have an awesome year. He's been getting a lot of rap, but like 2018, the Bears was great. We had a decent, solid tight end. Now we got three great tight ends because I love Harris too. I love Harris. I just think Mitch is going to have a great year.
Okay. All right. Outstanding. Outstanding. I love the...
now he got his weapons. He got his safety blanket. He never had a safety blanket that he can actually throw to. That when he gets pressure, he gets on the whim, he can just look for Jimmy or Coleman. Now, which one do I prefer to start over with? I would start Coleman. I know Jimmy's good. He's a veteran. He's good, but I'm more sold on Coleman. Why draft him that high and not let him start? I want to start Coleman. Let's see him what he do.
Yeah. Now, Kmet and Graham, they basically are going to serve two different roles in the offense. So I think it's very possible that both of them could be on the field at the same time.
Definitely.
So if you like one, and with that in mind, with this, COVID, call it what it is, this COVID situation that we're in, are you planning on then grabbing maybe more backups or any, backup positions that you wouldn't normally do, create more depth with your roster?
Yeah, definitely. Julio Jones at the wide receiver position. I'm trying to see, am I going to take CMC?
Yeah. Well,
with David Montgomery, kind of with this injury, I'm not sure. So I'm definitely looking at that. I like Todd Gurley with the Atlanta Falcons. Honestly, the Atlanta Falcons got a great line.
Yeah, Gurley could be
I was
somebody.
Looking at Todd Gurley. I was looking at a couple other people.
Yeah, Gurley could definitely be somebody to have a bit of a bounce back here. I did have somebody that reached out to me during the week. I threw it out there on Twitter. By the way, I failed to do some housekeeping in that first segment. If you want to follow along with the show on Twitter, absolutely you can, and you are encouraged to do so. You can follow along with IE Sports Radio at IE Sports Radio at Twitter. The show itself is at Chi-Town Weekly, IESR, and Weekly is abbreviated WKLY, or you can follow along with me personally at Adam_Karnick at Twitter. So I had somebody reach out to me on Twitter this week, actually doing some fantasy prep, and he asked Kamara versus Derrick Henry. And I prefer Kamara. Kamara's in my top 5 picks.
Over the King?
Here's why. I know Kamara had a rough year last year, that he didn't produce like he normally does, which to me, I believe that Kamara's got enough of a history that he'll bounce back. He will bounce back for last year, whereas Henry, I don't know. He had obviously an amazing year last year. I completely expect him in real-world football to be a dominant force and be a terrific player. But from a fantasy perspective, I'm not sure that he can duplicate or replicate what he did last year again. So I would take Kamara, especially if you're doing any kind of a PPR, any kind of a points per catch, be it a half-point PPR or the full-point PPR, I definitely like Kamara because he's so versatile out of the backfield as a receiver. Henry, while not terrible as a receiver, doesn't get utilized in that way as much.
Right.
So I like Kamara over Henry. At the same time, you can't go wrong with either player. They're both workhorse running backs in fantasy. They're going to do really well. I see Marcus chiming in the chat. I refuse to play anything but PPR. I agree, Marcus. I don't hate the quote unquote standard scoring. I mean, anymore PPR is so prominent that it almost has become the standard. But ever since started playing PPR about 10 years ago, I love it. I love doing the PPR format. So yes, definitely, I like that format. So
another running back that's going to probably have a great new year. I would think of Melvin Gordon with the Denver Broncos. I think he's going to have a pretty decent year. They got a great line.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And, well, the Broncos always have a good offensive line. They're always good in that.
They built for the line.
Yeah. In that regard,
ever since Peyton Manning, they just built for it.
Yep. All right. So from one fantasy side of one kind of not necessarily real football to another. AC, I follow you on Twitter, and I see all the time the stuff that you are posting about the latest Madden game, Madden 21. Tell us what's new with Madden 21, what you like, what you don't like, sell me on the game.
All right, I'm going to tell you real fast in a matter of 3 minutes of why you should buy Madden. Real fast. 1, Ultimate Team, really amazing. Different programs, different. It gives you something to do to play with your friends, have fun, just burn some time. I know you're probably not doing anything right now with COVID now, so why not play some Madden? Madden is totally fun. I love it. What I don't like is the franchise. Franchise still has not been touched. It's still the same. Nothing's new. But if I had to give it out of 10, I would say a 7. 7 out of 10.
Okay. And I've seen that they're starting to do some more of like the old street game that they made about 15 years ago or so. Is that being kind of incorporated into the new Madden?
Yes, the yard is so fun. I love it. I played it a couple times, just having fun. Just run. I got this league where I run with a couple friends. We just get up together. We run the yard. I've been having fun. They give you rewards for your mud team. It's just amazing. I've been having fun. I've been playing for a while. I've been playing since the closed beta. Thank you, EA. Just want to give you guys a shout out. You gave me a beta code, an early release copy too. Thank you guys. I just been having fun with it, man. I just love Madden. I'm born for it. Football is my favorite sport, so Madden is just so amazing this year. Now 20 was shaky. Well, Madden 21 is a lot. They got a lot of new features, a lot of new mechanics. It's just great.
What were some bugaboos in 20 that they fixed now for 21?
The crawl routes. It was just a lot of glitches. It was a lot of nano blicks. It was just a lot of stuff. I just was like, oh Lord. But 20, they took the streak away, so you can't run streaks now, because that's all everybody ever did in 20 was just run streak with Tyreek Hill. Patrick Mahomes and Tyreek Hill all day. Patrick Mahomes, streak. And that was, he was a cover act with me. He won the Super Bowl. That's cool. That's fine. But that's pretty much everybody doing that, and just run streaks or cover routes, corner routes. In 2020, I'm just so glad 20 is over with. I wasn't. Great.
So Madden 21 is definitely worth the investment, worth getting, or in my case, I'd have to get a whole new system. I don't even have a current system. I'm still running on the PS3.
Really?
Oh yeah. Well, see, I have a kid at home, and once that happens, boy, you lose a lot of your free time to play video games. It's the darndest thing. Raising a kid, you gotta like be responsible and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Trust me, I know. Yes.
So,
yeah.
So who are you putting on your ultimate team?
Well, right now I built this ultimate team with full of Chicago Bears. I got 50 out of 50, powered them up and everything. I'm gonna drop a full 50 out of 50 Bears team. That's all I run with, just completely Bears, just Bears out, all Bears, full year. We win, we lose. But I'm playing with my favorite players. So that's all that matters.
There you go. You gotta run with the guys you love. Well,
dedicated, man. Yes.
Well, AC, I know that you're up against the clock a little bit. Thank you so much for hopping on and joining me for a couple of segments today.
Yeah, definitely.
And
definitely. Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. Anytime, we will be in touch. All right, we're gonna take one more commercial break here real quick, and then we're gonna have to. There was a lot of news that happened today, both locally with the Chicago Bears on the practice field, and then in the rest of the sports world, there was a lot happening today. I want to talk about some of what was happening in the NBA and in the MLB. Once again, this is Chi-Town Weekly here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, fight fans? It's your boy, Marcus Los Great, here to give you what you want, here to give you what you need. Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm coming to you live, straight from your mama's basement with a crispy, awesome white tea. We are coming to you live every Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Powered by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, everybody. This is Darren Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunderous Spikes? Then I have the show for you. Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome in to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and you're listening to IE Sports Radio. If you like big nasty hits, if you like slap chop straight to the neck, if you like it when the blood hits the ice and the big boys get down, then this is your show on IE Sports Radio. This is the Neutral Zone. May our shots on goal always be true and straight to the net. If they are not, may they be followed up, redirected, or change collected. Let's go on IE Sports Radio with me, your host, Robert Kavanaugh, and this is the Neutral Zone.
Soccer Scoreboard Show with your host, Gabriel Montoya. This is the show for soccer, football fans, or whatever you call the beautiful game. Every week, I tackle the latest and greatest news from around the soccer world. From the English Premier League, to the World Cup, to MLS, Liga MX, and more. You can listen to the Soccer Scoreboard Show and our lineup of fantastic guests every Friday at noon here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
All right, welcome back into IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. You have found your way to the Chi-Town Weekly Show. Once again, I am your host, Adam Karnick. I want to once again thank AC for hopping on those first two segments. That was a lot of fun. Had some good banter back and forth. One last thought on the fantasy football. He was talking about taking either Mitch or Foles in the first round. I saw a blurb come across yesterday. Gardner Minshew, the starting quarterback for the Jaguars, has actually gotten into an agreement with Bud Light that if you take him in the first round, that you could possibly win a case of Bud Light. I don't know if I want to go that far. That doesn't seem like enough of a prize to me. But hey, I bet there will be people that'll do it, and good luck to those that do and have fun. At the end of the day, that's what fantasy football should be about, is having fun. All right, so there was a lot of news today in the sports world. Let's start locally. Let's start with the beloved, the Bears. The reports came out in the afternoon, but in practice this morning, David Montgomery had a boo-boo, a big boo-boo. I tweeted the video out, the video that was passing around. Again, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Adam_Karnick. And Montgomery took a handoff from Mitch. There was no defense on the field. Took a handoff and just his feet went out from under him. He wanted to go right and his leg went left. and he immediately went down in a heap, and you could tell he was in pain. The initial concern was that it might be a knee injury, and of course you hear that, and instantly your mind goes to the ACL and what everything that entails. Fortunately, it was not. It was a groin injury. In some ways, though, that's just as frustrating because groin injuries are those wonderfully pesky injuries for running back. I know I'm going to play a doctor on the radio here. Groin injuries can be those wonderfully pesky things where you might be over it in a couple weeks. You might need a month and a half. You might not get over it the entire season. It might affect you for the entire year. And running back is that one position of the skill position spots on the team where they don't have much in the way of any depth. Tariq Cohen and Cordell Patterson are both completely different styles of running back. They're more of the scat backs. They're more of the jitterbugs. Get them outside, get them in space, and let them take advantage of their speed and their quickness there. But they're not line them up in the backfield, shove the ball in their gut, and have them run between the guard and the tackle kind of running backs, which is more of what Montgomery is. So what you're talking depth right now for the Bears at running back, you've got Ryan Nall, who has been with the team a few years, but is primarily been more of a special teams guy. He had all of 2 carries last year for a whopping 8 yards. And then you've got an undrafted rookie free agent is the other true what you historically think of as a running back. And I'm looking up the name right now because I want to make sure that I get it correct. I believe it's Austin Pierce, and I'm looking it up right now as we talk to make sure that I get it right. And there was some talk back in April that this is a kid who, had it been a normal off season, again, if COVID weren't a thing and life would have been more what we're used to. I'm sorry, it's Artavius Pierce. I apologize. I want to get his name right. Artavius Pierce, undrafted rookie free agent out of Oregon State. And again, had it been a normal offseason, he's a guy that almost certainly would have been drafted possibly as high as the 4th or 5th round. But you have no idea what you have there. I see Taryn chiming in the chat. The Bears should look at Devontae Freeman or Marshawn Lynch. I honestly don't know about Lynch, especially for this offense. He's a little old, a lot of miles in that tank. I don't know how well he would fit into this system, and Nagy has shown a reluctance to adapt his scheme to the players that he has. That's part of the trouble that they had last year, in the struggles that they went through, that Nagy was unwilling or unable to adapt his scheme to the players that he had rather than the players he wished he had. So this could be a huge problem for the Bears. Definitely, Nagy was non-committal today when talking with reporters. He didn't want to speculate on how long that Montgomery could be out, or that do they need to look at somebody at this time. He was saying it's too early. We don't have enough information yet. This is a problem if it's going to be any length of time. The regular season is only about 18 days out. We'd be in the heart of the preseason right now. We'd be having preseason game 2 or preseason game 3 this weekend. This is crunch time. This is starting to be go time here. This could be a problem for the Bears. So definitely a situation to keep an eye on. And then some other news more around the sports world. We heard about there is yet another police shooting, this time up in Kenosha. And it's got a lot of people frustrated, a lot of people angry, a lot of people mad, understandably and justifiably so. And the NBA in particular has taken notice, where it started with the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks said, "We're not playing tonight. We're not having this. We're not going to be doing this tonight." Their game got postponed. Then the rest of the NBA chimed in, and the entirety of tonight's NBA slate is just not happening. And now it's starting to trickle into the MLB world. We heard earlier that the Brewers are not having their game tonight. And I saw during the middle of the show tonight that the Mariners are not having their game. So this is trickling throughout the sports world. We're starting to see a serious change in the role that sports is playing in society. That sports is sitting up and starting to be a more active voice when things outside of sports aren't going the way that everybody wants them to. Yeah, Taryn. Yeah, the WNBA has been having things come out. They're not having games. It's becoming a bigger thing. It's becoming, and it's also becoming something where, yes, there's still people who are lashing out against it when it happens. You're still hearing the voices of shut up and dribble, just be my entertainment, just go dance, go dance on my television and entertain me for 3 hours so that I can escape from the realities of what life is. You're still hearing those voices, but more and more and more you're hearing people talk about and be okay with and encourage people to say no. If something's bothering you, speak up. Tell us that we want to hear, and that's encouraging. I don't have the answer. This is a sports show. I will be the first to admit that sports is, for me, much more of an escape than it is real life, and I have so much more fun debating and talking about and even arguing sports because it's that escape, because it's that thing that at the end of the day we all know, or at least we should all know, and at least I know that it's, at the end of the day, it's not the most important thing out there. So that makes it fun, because if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Okay, so be it. If I'm right, cool, I'm right. I can pat myself on the back and put a gold star in the calendar and get on with my day, and life will be fine. But with the important things, I'm more hesitant, just because it's important to not be wrong. But it's encouraging to me to see these voices, these players speaking up and saying, no, this isn't right. We need to address this situation. And that the NBA has always been in the forefront of that. We're starting to see it take shape in more sports too, including the NFL. The Lions the other day, they decided not to have practice as a result of the Jacob Blake shooting up in Wisconsin. So we're starting to see that. If that bothers you, I don't think it's going anywhere. The best advice I could give to you, if that does bother you, is to listen to what other people are saying, listen to what you are saying, both on social media and in real life, and have some tough conversations. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be hard. But at the end of the day, we're going to come out in a better place for it. So just listen. That's all we can hope for. I know the knee-jerk reaction is to want to say no, to distance yourself, and sports is my entertainment, and that's all I want sports to be. That's all I encourage sports to be in my life, is just entertain me and get me to the next part of my day. But this isn't going anywhere. It's best to pay attention and to listen. All right, that was serious. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you guys for listening to another week of the Chi-Town Weekly Show. I love so much doing this with you guys. I appreciate all the chats, all the tweets, all the messages my way. Keep them coming. Let's keep the conversation rolling. Thank you again, AC, for hopping on and joining me today. Coming up next on IE Sports Radio, you've got the SoCal Supreme Sports Show with Karen. Karen, have yourself a great show, man. I know you're going to have some fun tonight. Next week, I definitely want to get into some Bears. We're going to be talking Bears. We're going to be talking some prep. We're also going to be kind of reviewing what may or may not have happened at the MLB trade deadline, seeing what the White Sox and the Cubs did or did not do. One last programming note, too. Next week is going to be the same time as normal, Wednesdays at 6 Central. Starting Labor Day, though, starting the first Monday of September, I will be moving to Mondays at 6 Central. So keep an ear and out for me there. I'll be putting stuff on social media. Of course, IE Sports will have all the updates. Keep your eyes out there on all the social sites. Keep it coming, Windy City. You guys rock. Just keep it coming. Have fun. Stay safe. Let's talk next week. Until then, have a good week.